Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mākina ki uta, kia mātaratara ki tai, e hi ake ana te atākura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, ti hei, mauri ora.
Awhina tiara te whānau, tia kina ko te wairua, te toko nā iwi e. Anei tō mātou, ko ka parangatira, ko te mea nui te aroha. Nā matua tupuna, nā mana mori wahunga, e arahia i a matale. Ka tutuki manu ngā tahi, me te whakapono. Awhina tiara te whānau, tia kina ko te wairua, te toko nā iwi e. Anei tō mātou, ko ka parangatira, ko te mea nui te aroha.
Atahi!
Atahi, whakaapono te tuki e. Atahi, whakaapono te tuki e. Atahi, whakaapono te tuki e.
G'day and welcome to the Whangaparāoa Multicultural Festival for 2022. Obviously with COVID hanging around, it's online. I'm John Davies, I'm from Future Whangaparāoa. We're delighted to have organised this and have the support of Hibiscus and Bay's local board to make it happen. Lisa.
Kia ora, I'm Lisa White. I'm chairperson of Future Whangaparāoa Trust, but I'm also deputy principal at Whangaparāoa College, which means that we have been lucky enough to have two of our Whangaparāoa College learners offer to host this multicultural festival online this year. So, over to you guys to introduce yourselves.
Hi there, I'm Kana Sugawara. I'm in Year 12 at Whangaparāoa College.
Hi, I'm Grusha Vashish and I'm in Year 11 at Whangaparāoa College.
So Lisa and I are going to disappear now, like magic, and these guys are going to host the rest of tonight. Enjoy!
Enjoy!
asked Gerald, an 82-year-old Pākehā, why he did Tai Chi.
So tell me, what's your name?
Gerald.
And Gerald, you were telling me before about the therapeutic benefits of the gentleness of the Tai Chi exercise
Yeah.
for a man who's dealing with all the things that we get when we age.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Oh, yes. Well, I've been doing it. I'm 83 now, but I've been doing it for about 15 years. I started off knowing nothing at all about it, and going through Master Miao, who was our teacher, was very good, and I started to learn all the different moves.
Sarah runs the group in the absence of their normal Tai Chi master. We asked her about celebrating her culture in Aotearoa.
So what's your name and what part of the world are you from?
My name is Sarah, coming from mainland China, Beijing. I've been here nearly 30 years, for a long time. I celebrate our culture mainly with my family, but recent years, like New Zealand, in Auckland especially, we have a lot of celebrations, like Chinese New Year, Moon Festival, Lantern Festival. So we all easily to join some of the event, to celebrate. So that well, New Zealand, well, especially in Auckland, is quite multicultural. Um, every different nationalities, they can bring their festivals, like Chinese got our New Year, we same as the Korean people. But I know Indian is different, so we got a different time for the New Year. They all can bring up like to celebrate. So that can make the place like a multicultural kind of thing, make people feels like at home, or at least like they missing home, but we got something here for you to make them feel like it's like a home.
So tonight, we have interviewed multiple learners here at Whangaparāoa College. Here's our first interview.
My name is Jocelyn Katia, and I'm from Zimbabwe, but I was raised in South Africa. I celebrate my culture by just talking with my family in Zimbabwe and celebrating the national days of the countries. And culture means family, history, and love to me. Living in New Zealand, it has been a little weird because Kiwis don't celebrate the same culture as me, and on those days it feels weird to say like happy or merry blah 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 day, but and making Whangaparāoa College more multicultural, we would have to maybe have like a cultural day where we wear mufti and we wear like our cultural clothing, or having some sort of just bringing together different cultures into one day.
Indian community is widely known across Aotearoa and has been for many decades. India is well known for Bollywood. The Indian dance school Ajay Nacho has made a film of dances that twisted some fairy tales with feminist twist. Here's the opening scene from the film and the first dance based off the story Cinderella. We sent John from Future Whangaparāoa Trust along to the premiere to interview some of the performers.
So I'm here at Auckland's Art Gallery, of course the ubiquitous road cones of Auckland. I'm coming into the theatre, downstairs in the gallery, going to take a look at a brand new dance film from an Indian cultural group here in Auckland, and you're about to see some excerpts right here at the Whangaparāoa Multicultural Online Festival.
Not all girls are made of sugar and spice and all things nice. These are damsels made of flawless fearlessness, made of more bravery than knights have ever seen. These are princesses made of valor and poison alike, and they are here to hold court as your queens. The fairy tales we should tell our daughters should be about strong women with real flaws and incredible qualities. Let's raise girls who don't just wait to be rescued, but take destiny in their own hands and charge to battle dragons and their enemies. Fairy tales exist. They always have. We just have to rewrite them over and over again till they fit. If you ever want to look at the way a word can totally demean and destroy the entire worth and value of a woman, just look at what the word ugly did to Cinderella's two stepsisters. If all girls were taught how to love each other fiercely, instead of how to compete with each other and hate their own bodies, what a different and beautiful world we would live in.
Da
About how it personally feels, rather than collectively, but personally feels to celebrate your culture here, and how you feel you can influence the rest of the New Zealand population through it.
I think it just makes me feel really proud. Proud of our dancers and team, proud of our culture. I think our community has done a really good job of passing on the arts to us. If it wasn't for our teachers that started little schools in their garages in New Zealand 20 years ago, we wouldn't be able to do things like this. It makes me proud of Kiwis for being open to new experiences and open to new art forms. So I think that's how it makes me feel, to answer your question.
So Halia, tell me about how your participation in the dance connects you back to the culture that you weren't born in, but that you're very clearly connected to.
Yeah, so I was born in Auckland and have had the great pleasure of learning about my culture through arts, really. I think if it wasn't for learning Sri Lankan or Indian music and dance, I wouldn't have the connection to our culture that I do. Dance encompasses all of it, really, because it encompasses music, colourful costume and jewellery, and I think the thing that's most special to me is the ability to tell stories. Bharatanatyam, which is the dance form that we use today in our production, is inherently a storytelling dance form. It normally tells traditionally Indian or Hindu stories, but here in New Zealand we've taken the opportunity to tell more, relatable stories and universal ones. So I think for me, that makes it very special to me.
Selena, for you, you were born in India.
Mm-hmm.
How does a woman who's immigrated to New Zealand at 18 years of age stay connected to her culture through the dance?
Yes, so I came to New Zealand in 2011. So it was actually the time of me also evolving from that 18 years old, learning about your culture, new culture, or getting settled at a new place. Also, my dance in a way that time diminished, but I feel that dance always stayed with me, because in this dance form when I joined, I had that 10 years gap, but still I feel like doing this dance form is making me to stand up and showing my culture or what I learned or a dance form or one of the dance form of India or a culture to the multicultural in New Zealand. Also, I feel like doing dance or being involved in dance is a way of showing me or my way of communication or expressing. I feel like that.
What do you think, as a New Zealand-born Sri Lankan, might be the influence on your homeland's dance, your family's homeland's dance, from the changes, the fusions that you're making here in New Zealand?
I think there's a huge influence, to be honest. I think it goes both ways, particularly with the internet and the ability to share. I see dances from India, but also Bharatanatyam that's done in Canada and America and the UK, and I think we're all influencing each other, to be honest. So I'm really proud of the fact that today we've developed this production that will hopefully be an inspiration to the diaspora all over the world, but back in India and Sri Lanka and our countries of origin as well.
Lena, tell me about how easy you find it to celebrate your culture in New Zealand.
For me, I feel like New Zealanders first of all, New Zealanders are very welcoming. I get that when I started here in New Zealand. And as Ahalya said, they are positive. And they are also very curious and asking questions, and they try to understand what I mean when I'm telling about my art forms or my culture or this is what I learned. I have found they are very much accommodating. That's what my experience. I don't know how to word it in that way, but for me, I always feel like they are very open or like understanding, oh, this is how you do it, this is how we do it.
Remember, we're doing interviews tonight. Here's the second one.
Hi, my name's Andy Ward. I'm the head of music at Whangaparāoa College. So I hail from the UK, England, near London, just north of London, originally. My mum is Scottish. My father is English. So I've got a mixture, and I've got relatives in Wales as well, although I don't have any Welsh heritage. My parents-in-law are from Nova Scotia in Canada, and so one thing we will often do is go up to Waipu and look at the museum and all that kind of thing, and the street names there, because the settlers came over from Nova Scotia. I think it's Norman MacLeod brought over after the clearances a couple of hundred years ago. Now, culture, what does it mean to me? Well, it means individuality to me. It means celebrating differences through all sorts of things. Now, I'm an artist, musician, I guess. So culture is celebrating those. For example, I celebrate that through different styles, and knowing about those different styles is something that's really interesting and really important. Food is another one, of course, and language, of course, and all these kind of things. So celebrating these differences and being interested, open-minded, to understand also how this affects the way that we operate within the world. And what can make Whangaparāoa a more multicultural place? Well, because Whangaparāoa becomes more populated, which it certainly has in the 10 years I've lived here, it will undoubtedly become more multicultural by sheer weight of numbers and people from different cultures moving together and living in the same area. Much like my homeland, and obviously, as I said at the beginning, I'm from near London, and obviously that's one of the most culturally diverse places in the world. Obviously, Whangaparāoa is probably not going to be like that, but it certainly will become more so, and I think that also that comes from community input as well. I think if everybody works together as a community, then and accepts differences and respects them and celebrates them, then that's certainly the road to much more healthy multiculturalism.
So Kia ora, Victoria Short. You're the Deputy Chair of the Hibiscus and Bays Local Board. You've been there for 3 years. Tell me a little bit about your background. Where are you from?
Maori John, thank you for having me. I am from a small Pacific Island nation in Micronesia called Kiribati. My dad is also from the UK, met my mum in Kiribati, and we've ended up here in New Zealand.
Okay, that's news. I didn't expect that. How do you celebrate your culture?
So how I celebrate it is I speak the language to my daughters. So I speak the language fluently. I was brought up with the language. Actually, it was my first language. Every year in July, they have the independence celebration. So it's when Kiribati became, its own from the Queen. And we do that by dancing, the traditional dancing, we play sports, and we just celebrate it in such a fun way. And, you have all the food and all your relatives surrounding you. So you do have that sense of home in New Zealand. But with more specifically my family, it's more the language. I still do follow a lot of the traditions, and definitely food, because that is home for me. Yeah.
So with that kind of background, Victoria, you might have a view on how here in Tamaki Makaurau we could better celebrate all cultures.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a view from a local board perspective as an elected member there, but also a personal view on how things could be done better.
Yeah, so especially here on the shore, it's not really something we do. It's still kind of growing on everyone. But we do have awesome community groups on the coast who are celebrating where they come from and actually educating other kids where they are, because there is a sense of pride with that. And if you can share that with other kids, it's more of a, oh, wow, okay, so I'm from a different country, and there's no shame to that, because usually there is a little bit of stigma and shame that comes with it. But education, including that, where you come from and everything in that kind of realm is so good. And teaching the kids your dances, your language, it's so special. In Tamaki Makaurau, I think we do a really good job of trying to celebrate everyone's identity. But I think everything starts at home, and educating the kids of, other cultures, other identities. And actually it's just the norm now. So we are a multicultural, multi-diverse community, and I think celebrating that is really important.
So what would you do more of, or do better, or do that isn't being done that would help those celebrations?
So we're slowly starting to celebrate key events within culture. So like Matariki, we're starting to celebrate language weeks. I think as a local board, it's just kind of getting in touch, because they do kind of stand behind a little bit and don't know how to approach the local board. It's quite an intimidating process, but actually connecting in with them, seeing what they want to achieve and seeing what they want to share is key. And then once you do that, they're off. They're celebrating, they're educating everyone. But as a board, I feel like we just need to connect a little bit better with some of these key groups, and also just understand who they are.
And that, folks, is something Future Whangaparāoa can help with. If you're a multicultural group living within the Whangaparāoa area, that's what we're here for, to help you develop connections with the people that can help you make celebrations happen.
Correct. 100%.
And you guys support us 100%.
Oh, couldn't think of a better group.
Thanks for that interview, John, with Victoria. We're delighted to bring back Wei Hongji, a Chinese national with a special love for Tibet. Wei Hong performed at last year's live event with a dance. After the dance, she created a short video answering some key questions about Tibetan culture.
的琴弦，哦，弹奏着天籁，悄悄揭开恍若千年的等待。清清的泉水把我的心儿灌溉，你的美让我的真情入海。人间最美，最美是故乡啊！我的骄傲站，那山山水水把我的时光记载，把我的时光记载。一生最爱，最爱是故乡啊！我的骄傲站，我用一生来眷恋你的模样，你的爱，你的模样，你的爱。你的模样，你的爱。
My name is Wei Hong Ji. I live in Auckland. I work for Massey University as an associate professor, and I teach conservation and ecology. So my connection with Tibet, I am Chinese, by the way, not Tibetan, but my parents, they were both doctors, and they worked in Tibet for their career, the whole career, 30 years in a small Tibetan village. I spent 4 years, lived in that Tibetan village where my parents worked, and learned a lot of Tibetan culture, Tibetan dance and music. So it opened my eyes to a different culture. And I think I benefited greatly from that experience. I think Aucklanders could get more from our culture diversity by participating. It is great that we have a lot of cultural diverse activities are organized or have been organized, but the participation in culture practices is not as common as coming just as a spectator viewing the events instead of participating in some practice.
We're still doing some interviews, so here's interview number 3.
Kia ora. So can you introduce yourself to us?
My name is Pen Lastanet. I am a Thai French. I am of Thai French descendants.
And Pen, how do you celebrate that culture in New Zealand?
In New Zealand, there's not many ways I can celebrate it, as there's not many temples or kind of like churches that are French. So what we do is we celebrate through food. My mom will cook all the Thai and Eastern and Asian kind of food, and then my dad will cook all the French food.
What does the word culture mean to you?
To me, culture is a part of your identity as a person. It means it's kind of what sets you apart from people from all over the world.
And how you've lived in other places other than New Zealand? Where have you lived before?
I've lived in Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Iraq.
And how do you find living in New Zealand as a person from your culture compared to the other places that you've lived?
It's different because we have a lot less people here in New Zealand as Thai or French compared to in Thailand and Indonesia. There's more Thai people, more French people. So we kind of stick together more in New Zealand. And if we need something, we can ask any other Thai person. They'll probably give it to us because we're the same culture.
Pen, what do you think would make Whangaparāoa a more multicultural place?
A few years ago, there was the international student program where they would bring in international students from all over the world, no matter what culture, into the school. that was great because there would be people from all over the world coming in, and you could experience different cultures just by like hanging out with them, talking with them. But over COVID, we haven't really been able to do that because of travel regulations and cost and everything like that. But if that was to start again, I wouldn't see much more different that we could do.
We sometimes forget the Pacifica presence of Hawaii because of its American status. Today in Tamaki Makaurau, we have a group made up of many cultures celebrating Hawaiian dance and tradition. In these two dance pieces, an entirely Japanese expat group performed traditional Hawaiian dances.
Kauai ka vai olohia o ka hualoa. Kokohi ka vai puhia e tu aloha e o mai. vai olohia o ka hua loa ko kai ka vai puhia e tu aloha e o mai vai mapuna alei ka poli pahei ka vai lohia e tu aloha e o mai vai mapuna alei ka poli pahei ka vai lohia e tu aloha e o mai vai vela vela ho e hai ka ili e inui ka vai a kena e tu aloha e o mai e moi ka vai vela vela o e hai ka ili e inui ka vai a kena e tu aloha e o mai
So ladies, thank you for being with us today and being part of the Whangaparāoa Multicultural Festival. Please tell us the name of your group.
We are Wahine Lokomaikai o ka hula.
And what is that in English?
Gracious Ladies of Hula.
You're obviously dancing to the sounds of Hawaii. Are you all from Hawaii?
No.
No. Where are you all from?
We all from Japan. We have so many members from all the other countries, Malaysian, Australian, also Kiwi, and we are all from Japan, and we all celebrating in the Hawaiian hula.
Because we all love Hawaiian culture and everything. We love Hawaii, and that's the reason. Yeah, we all enjoy dancing, Hawaiian music, and that's all. Thank you.
Would be great that Kiwi can have chance to get to know all each cultures and enjoy and find out more.
Is there anything we could specifically do to make that happen?
What a festival does to introduce to all the other Kiwis to show who they are, if more chances like that would be lovely.
So thank you for Whangaparāoa Trust to have a multicultural festival for all of New Zealanders.
Gilda is a Kiwi who loves Brazilian culture. Here she performs 2 songs in the Brazilian national language, which is actually the language of their colonist, Portuguese.
Eu vou sair em qualquer lugar, dizendo onde você foi, eu vou. Quando perguntei, ouvi você dizer que era tudo que você sempre quis. Mesmo triste, estar feliz, e acabei acreditando em ilusões. E nem pensava em ter que esquecer você. Agora vem você dizer amor. Oh, eu errei com você. E só assim pode entender. O grande mal foi a-me mesmo. Yeah. E eu lembro e que passou. Eu não pude evitar. E só descendo livre sou. E apaga a luz. E ainda lembro e que passou. Eu vou sair em qualquer lugar, dizendo onde você foi, eu vou. E quando perguntei, ouvi você dizer que eu era tudo que você sempre quis. Mesmo triste, estava feliz e acabei acreditando em ilusões. E nem pensava em ter que esquecer você. Eu era tudo que você sempre quis. Eu errei com você. Eu sou dizendo livre sou. E apaga a luz. E ainda lembro e que passou. Eu errei com você. Eu só assim pude entender. O grande mal foi esse, amar-me mesmo. E ainda lembro e que passou. E ainda lembro e que passou. E ainda lembro. E ainda lembro. E ainda lembro. conheci, passeira, fazendo visagem, passando rasteira. Que bom, que bom, que bom. Foi num samba de gente bomba, gente bomba, que eu te conheci, passeira, fazendo visagem, passando rasteira, e me sente lá no mar pra viver canosidade, deixando os conteneros quase louco de saudade. Linda criança, tendo fé, tendo esperança, que um dia te voltar, garantia teu lugar, foi num samba.
So Gilda, welcome to Whangaparāoa. Thank you for coming and celebrating the Multicultural Festival with us. What makes a Kiwi want to celebrate South American music?
Eu acho que minha alma é brasileira. I think my soul is Brazilian. I heard the music when I was 10 or 11, kept singing it to myself, and eventually I went to Brazil and was happy there, singing over there. Yeah.
When did you return to New Zealand?
2 years ago.
Which would have been 2019, just before COVID.
Just before, and I've been here,
Yeah,
unable
but
to go back.
Unable to go back. You want to go back?
Yeah, I will. Next year.
You see that as your home now?
Yeah, I still need New Zealand, but I love being there. I guess I need both.
And how do you celebrate your love of Brazil when you're living here in New Zealand?
Dancing around my room by myself, performing music at markets, weddings, parties, and keeping my Brazilian life alive with a few Brazilian friends, and just, celebrating by myself.
In your opinion, what would make Whangaparāoa or wider Auckland a better place for people to enjoy their cultures and the multicultural experience?
Maybe some picnics. Have a Brazilian day, have a Chilean day, have a Colombian day down at the beach, have some live music, some maybe dance classes from people, and keep it alive, also inviting everybody else in. Yeah.
Interview number 4.
Hi, I'm Amy Dobbin, and my family heritage is from Ireland. We celebrate that culture here in New Zealand by celebrating St. Patrick's Day. So we bake cookies, cupcakes, and cakes for our family and friends. To me, culture means history and ancestors and where you're from. Living in New Zealand as a person from Ireland is all right for me because I actually grew up in New Zealand. So every 4 years we go over to Ireland and see our family. And I think Whangaparāoa could be more multicultural by celebrating more cultural mufti days.
We didn't have an Indonesian contribution last year. Those of us from Whangaparāoa College were enjoying Ora Nusantara, recording all over the college with their fun dance. pressured, we've sent John over to interview her.
So, hello, who are you?
Hi John, my name is Lena and I'm the Program and Events Librarian here at Whangaparāoa Library, and today supported by my son Theo.
And what does a Program and Events Librarian do?
So a Program and Events Librarian here at the library, well, in non-COVID times, we run programs at the library. You know, all sorts. We organize author talks. We have festivals and all sorts of things. You know, that the community really wants to see. In COVID times, a bit more difficult. We do run online classes as we can, and yeah, that's my role. So in terms of celebrating multiculturalism here at the library, since we can only run online events or displays at the library, as part of World of Cultures, we have a display here at the moment which celebrates humor in different cultures. So we're looking at, do jokes translate through different cultures? I'm from Germany, we've got South African staff, Chinese staff, so and we share jokes and are looking at sort of, can we all laugh about the same jokes or maybe not, and why is that?
So you're an example of New Zealand's multiculturalism. You and Teo are both examples of that. Tell us a little bit about how Germans in New Zealand get a chance to celebrate their culture.
So being a German in New Zealand, I do feel quite marginalised sometimes. I think there is quite a few of us, but we tend to fly under the radar a little bit more. So there's not a lot of cultural days, I suppose, that we celebrate openly. I wish there would be. I mean, we don't really have a Lederhosen Day or something that you might think, which would be quite weird, but I'm sure we could, you know, contribute a bit more. So yeah, I'd love to see more, you know, of my culture being openly celebrated.
So Lena, it's COVID reduction at the moment and things are getting easier. When it becomes easier for the council to run events in the library, what kinds of things will you be doing here at Whangaparāoa Library to celebrate or enhance our understanding of multiple cultures?
Well, we really can't wait for restrictions to be dropped and for us to be able to celebrate our diverse cultures again. We have been last year running language classes, we had French classes, we had a variety of Pacific classes and culture celebrated, and we worked with Hibiscus Tuacana, which is a Pacifica group, a Chinese group to run Chinese classes. So, you know, we just can't wait to use us as guinea pigs and maybe teach some German if I can, I'd love to, and collaborate again with the groups in our area, because we are really multicultural and sometimes you maybe not see that. As I say, it flies below the radar and we'd love to bring it out and make it shine again.
So in Tamaki Makaurau or even wider Aotearoa, what could we do to better celebrate the multiple cultures that we have every day?
Well, I think we could do lots more to celebrate our diverse cultures here. I mean, we're already doing a great work with the bigger festivals like the Chinese Lantern Festival and Diwali, and you know that's great. But as I say, there are little pockets of smaller communities and cultures here that we don't tend to celebrate enough, I think. So shining a light on the hidden cultures would be great to really have, you know, yeah, marginalized is not a nice word, but just, yeah, the smaller subcultures that make up all of us, all of our diversity, and include all of us. Yeah, would be great.
And German would be one of those?
German would be definitely one of those, and I'll be celebrating with bells on.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you, Teo, for your time. Have a lovely afternoon in this beautiful sunshine.
You're most welcome, John. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, Teo.
Can't wait to get out.
Well, now that the show is almost over, it's been so fun being your hosts. Our last performance is from the Tahimana Polynesian fire dancers.
Right before we watch that, we have included the beautiful answers from Portia and group leader Amo on how we can better celebrate multicultures here in Aotearoa.
So, what's your name?
My name is Portia.
Portia. And what's your heritage?
Samoan, but yeah, mostly Samoan.
Samoan. And were you born in New Zealand?
Yes.
Okay. So you've lived here all your life?
Yeah.
What do you think New Zealand could do better to encourage people to celebrate their culture more?
I think Aotearoa, New Zealand could promote multicultural events far more better.
I think Aotearoa can celebrate Cultural Day simply by being together, holding hands, hugging each other, just like it was before we all had to lock down.
Social distance.
Ngā mihi nui. Thanks for joining us today.
Hihiri, pairarama, pau te hakaaro, pau te tangata, pau te aroha, te pau e here nei a tātou, mauri ora ki a tātou, au me hui e tai.
And folks, this is Brody. He made this film for your enjoyment. Thanks, Brody.